So listen, Frankie, how are you doing? Because I noticed on social media the other week you put up a post about kind of struggling with medication and things.
Yeah, you know what? It was completely my fault. And you'd think after all these years of suffering with depression and anxiety and being on antidepressants that I'd have learnt that when I'm getting near the end, I need to reorder my medication. And I forget all the time. And I've been really busy over the last few weeks. And I just so happened to run out of my tablets like the day before bank holiday, which obviously meant I couldn't get them for even longer. So I've been feeling really rubbish. Poor Wayne has been dealing with me with, you know, I've been having withdrawal symptoms, so I get like really dizzy eyes, I get headaches, feel a bit sick.
And how quickly do those symptoms come on from, you know, not taking the tablet?
Quite quickly, you know, which is really surprising because I've done it a few times before, stupidly, and I didn't really get those side effects, but this time it really did get me. You know, I kind of felt like life was happening around me and I just wasn't really in it. It's kind of a bit like being in a dream. And it scares me also how much I need them because my mood just plummeted. You know, I was really emotional, wanting to cry all the time. I just wanted to be in bed all the time, and kind of having to put on that brave face and act like everything was okay. And yeah, it's really frustrating, but
do you think
also,
that's been exacerbated a bit by lockdown as well? Because I think a lot of people who haven't even had issues before are starting to get anxiety in lockdown.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, it's sad that people that have never suffered from mental health issues are now, but equally I think it's helping people to understand slightly more. Not that I would wish it on anyone, but I think there is going to be, you know, mental health was an issue already, and I think after everything with COVID, it's going to be, we know it's going to be an even bigger issue.
You were saying about, you know, your family are also, you're all in it together.
Yeah.
And Paris, I guess you're in that situation, aren't you, with Tyson?
Yes. Yeah, well, Tyson's found that through lockdown, he got into exercise and he really maintained his mental health. But I just think people, like you've said, Frankie, has just opened up so much more in the last few years. And especially during the lockdown with people experiencing it themselves, it's opened up massively and people are talking about it more. And even like yourself, to stand on that platform and say, you know what, I don't feel good and I've had this problem and this is what I do to make it better. I think that's brilliant. And I think it's great that the words is getting out there. Like you say, we don't want anyone to experience this, but who is, it's great that they can feel relation to somebody else out there doing this and having them feelings.
You're right, we are talking much more about mental health, which is good. Do you think we talk enough about medication?
No, and I think that's the thing, you know, it doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody needs medication. And I have found in the past when I have said, yeah, I take medication, a lot of people, you know, sent me messages saying, thank you so much. You know, I think there is still a big stigma around it. You know, people go on it, they can't wait to get back off it. They're scared to go on it in case it changes. You know, I was scared to go on it in case it changed my personality. But I do think for me, the two have to go together, therapy and medication. You know, they kind of fix the issue together. But I also have an issue with people just being thrown on medication when they might not necessarily need it, or there are other ways for them to deal with it. But it's individual, and I think that's the thing. You know, it's just hard, isn't it, with mental health? You can't see it. Everyone's different.
Right, yeah.
Tyson found that when he got offered medication, he took it just for a short period and came off of it because he found a way to work without it. But I never thought that there was a stigma until recently. I didn't realise people had an issue. I just think, as we said earlier today, if you've got an illness and you need a medication, mental health is an illness. And if you need that medication to let your life function, it's definitely the option for you. But I just think that people should always seek medical help, and whatever's there available, if they're getting told by doctors it's going to help them, then by all means it should be something they can consider.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it is what they call a hidden injury. It's a bit like wounded soldiers, you know, if they come back from a war zone and they've lost a leg, the public go, oh, poor you know, and are really kind of sympathetic. But the ones who have PTSD, which you can't see, they really struggle with people getting to understand what it is that they're actually going through. Because people go, well, you look all right. It doesn't seem to be anything wrong with you.
And you can act all right. That is the thing, you know. Anyone with any sort of mental illness, you can switch it on and perform, if you will, to be able to kind of get through it, and that is why it's difficult, I think.
I do think it's great that you're speaking more openly about medication, because I mean, I confess I come from an older generation, and it's probably not something that was spoken about so openly, and I'm really aware that I kind of need to educate myself, you know, more about it. Just one thing to say, though, of course, if you are on antidepressants, medical advice is that you shouldn't stop them suddenly, and that's something that you should definitely consult your GP about and make sure that that's a kind of managed programme. Now, as always, we do have plenty of information on our Lighten the Load mental health campaign and places that you can go for help on our website if you are struggling.